So as usual, Mailbag Monday, 6 questions that I really, really like. I got 9 this week, so don't worry. The 3 that I didn't get to, they're going to be in a one-off video later on. I'm telling you guys, you send me the comments, I'm going to do video content on it. And so I want to make sure that everybody gets involved. So let's get this thing going. This one comes from Roger in Evanston, Illinois. Cole, are you buying stock that Notre Dame will be a playoff team in 2024? What's the worst that they can be to still make the postseason? And could they make a run once actually in the dance? Well, Roger, let's just get this out of the way. Yes, I do think Notre Dame is a playoff team. You look at the way the roster was constructed, they did lose 2 key elements on the offensive line in Blake Fisher and Joe Alt, but they might have upgraded at quarterback. They definitely upgraded at offensive coordinator. Mike Denbrock's coming on in, and he just showed you last season, yeah, he can do anything with any type of quarterback and make it work. That's why Jaden Daniels won the Heisman Trophy, and it's why he went on to be the number 2 overall pick out of LSU. Riley Leonard has similar traits that emulate a lot of Jaden Daniels. The thing that people want to go ahead and gripe on all the time is that his accuracy is a little off point. He doesn't have great arm strength. He doesn't have the velocity to sling it around the yard. But the guy's got legs. Part of the reason why they were able to beat Clemson at Durham, North Carolina, the Blue Devils of all teams, was because of Riley Leonard's legs, keeping drives alive, momentum on third down, being able to pick up the first, move the sticks, and not lose that inertia, which is a big thing that I think is going to play a factor in South Bend this year for Mike Denbrock's offense. But the other thing, they got some wide receivers. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing when you talk about Duke. Duke is a very good program, and they were in the right direction underneath Mike Elko, who also now is going to College Station, so it's a huge dividend, but not the point here. They have the weapons in South Bend to be really successful. You talk about a guy such as Jaden Harrison coming on over from Marshall, 14.2 yards per play last year. You talk about adding in a guy like Bo Collins from Clemson, 6'3", has the size of what you're looking for. Chris Mitchell from FIU, over 1,100 yards for the Panthers. They got weapons. Yeah, they also lost a tight end in Holden Stales, but the tight end room was very, very deep. It was very, very It was very gruntful. And they know how to build offensive lines. Again, this defense also isn't really losing much. And the pieces that they are losing are very manageable to replace. But the 2 main guys that are coming back, Xavier Watts and Benjamin Morrison, I think are going to be bountiful for this secondary that's going to make sure that they stay afloat. What's the worst that Notre Dame can be? A lot of people are going to say it's 11-1 because they don't play in a conference. And I would 100% understand that reasoning. But what if they go 10-2 and one of the losses comes to, I don't know, let's just say Texas A&M on a game-winning field goal as time expires in College Station? Are we really going to say that if Texas A&M the rest of the year goes 9-3, they hold their own in the SEC, they prove dominance, that they are trending upward with Mike Elko at the helm, that's really a bad loss? Because to me, that's the whole point here. When you want to say that you're an 11-1 team, absolutely, it's going to do wonders for your stat line. But when I look at Texas A&M, if they're a roster that does show that growth and the adaptability, it's really hard for me not to think that they're trending upward to where I can't blame Notre Dame. And so if you're a 10-2 roster, and let's just say your losses come to, I don't know, we'll go with Florida State and Texas A&M. Those are 2 pretty significant losses if both teams are still in the playoff hunt. It's not like you're losing to Louisville. It's not like you're losing to Miami of Ohio. It's not like you're losing to Georgia Tech. You're losing to teams that still believe could be top 25 rosters. And how do you lose those teams? Also, where do you see Riley Leonard progress? Because the other thing that's really important here is, what if Leonard, just in the same offense that Jaden Daniels worked last year, is able to take that next step forward? What if he's able to build those type of relationships with receivers like Chris Mitchell? What if he's able to build those type of relationships with guys such as Bo Collins? What if you start to see that next step forward to where you are seeing him be the X factor, not just with his legs, but also with his arm? Those are things that are really promising when it comes to Notre Dame. Their schedule is very manageable. They feel like they're a roster that's trended in the right direction. And if they make the college football playoff, what this does is it only solidifies you made the right hire with Marcus Freeman. Freeman was a guy that I think a lot of people thought, okay, well, he's never coached before as a head coach. He's probably got to go ahead and get his feet underneath him. Maybe we'll go with a different direction. But they also realized, Jack Swarbrick, that this was a coach that was buying into the culture. A lot of players were buying into what he was selling. So it just made a lot of sense to go ahead and easily promote him from internally. And now you're starting to see this team trend upward. They got a little bit better last year. They look like a team that, if not for a loss to Ohio State, they maybe would have at least been in a New Year's Six bowl game. And then you look at what they did the year before with Tyler Buckner. It wasn't great. They had Drew Pine. There were injuries. Well, now it feels like you got the quarterback that you've always wanted, the offensive coordinator that you've always wanted, the wide receivers in play that should be bountiful for your team to take that next step forward. Everything is there in South Bend for you to be a playoff team. The big question turns to what kind of losses do you have? How quickly can Riley Leonard go from being a great game manager to maybe an X factor for this offense? And how quickly can this defense replace the production lost at linebacker and defensive tackle? Overall, I think Notre Dame is a playoff team. I have them in my way too early preseason playoff rankings. I believe they're right on the outside looking at the top 10. If you're a top 10 team, you're easily going to be mixed into the conversation. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. That's awesome. Thank you so much. But before you leave, make sure that you hit subscribe. And if you want to check out any of our other great work, make sure you click on one of the videos here. Am I pointing at the right spot? I'm not entirely sure. I'm really not.